My name is Scott Welch. I am the Chief Investment Officer of Model Portfolios for WisdomTree. I'm actually from right here in San Diego. I grew up right across the bay there in Coronado, so it's great to be back. WisdomTree, of course, is based in New York, although we are a remote-only firm, so I actually live outside of Washington, D.C. Yeah, so the story behind my personal SEMA is fairly interesting. I wouldn't say it's super interesting, but I think it's not atypical. So I joined an RIA from the banking industry back in the late 90s. The RIA at the time was fairly new. It started in the mid 90s. It was, smallish. It was 350 million or so. And the person who started it came from a different industry. Very entrepreneurial and very, very smart guy. And he knew he needed some credentials to be able to talk to prospective clients and say, yes, I'm from this other industry, but I'm trained in what I'm talking to you about now. And it worked for him. It was very successful. He became an advocate of the credential. And so we became a SEMA shop, if you will. And so anybody who wanted to be a client-facing person in that firm needed to go through the SEMA program. So I went through it in 2004, I think. And it was, frankly, in looking back on it, the single best investment I ever made in myself with respect to what I do now. I too came from a different industry. I came from banking. Many of the people who were the early employees of that firm came from other places. But by getting the SEMA together, or not necessarily at the same time, but together, we had a commonality of purpose, we had a commonality of knowledge, of language, and it worked. And I've run into probably 7 or 8 people here just today who were at that original firm, all of who hold their SEMA, and still feel strongly enough about it to want to continue to come to these events and maintain their credential. I think the benefit of it is that there are other certifications that you can get, and they're high quality and great. But when I think of the SEMA, and I'm not excluding the other certifications that IWI offers, but when I think of the SEMA, for me, it was the perfect intersection of analytical ability and client-facing skills. Right. So, and if you think about a wealth manager's job, a financial advisor's job, that's what they do. It's not just quantitative. It's not just client facing. It needs to be both. And I think the SEMA is an important step in the preparation to be able to do that. Since we've added the other certifications, the CPWA and the RMA, what you're beginning to see, actually not beginning, what's well ensconced now is this notion of teams. And you've heard a lot about that being discussed here at this event. And the importance of having teams and the fact that not everybody can be good at everything. The IWI certification programs are the perfect complement to that, because you can set up a team that has expertise in portfolio management, in financial planning, in longevity planning, and you can bring that holistic wealth management experience to your clients that industry survey after industry survey suggests is increasingly what clients want and what they're willing to pay for.